Warning: the content reviewed in this video is extremely cringeworthy. Viewer discretion is advised.
Well, to show us how our new PM's faith fits in with his politics, we've actually managed to get some Christian rock musicians who regularly perform at Morrison's church here tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Shadow Ministers.
Hey. Yeah! Go on, guys, what are you going to do for us?
I'm Bridie.
Hi, guys, I'm Wyatt. You certainly are.
Guys, since Scott Morrison became Prime Minister, heaps of people have been talking about his evangelical faith.
Yeah, and if you don't know what that means, we're here to explain. It means ScoMo is heaps Christian.
Scott Morrison could not be more Christian, right? Every act he does is so Christian.
2, 3, 4.
Jesus made the animals like kangaroos, and he also said to lock the kids up on the roof.
I am Jesus' son.
And I'm Jesus' daughter, and there's nothing more Christian than closing the borders.
We love Jesus,
Jesus, but not refugees. If you wanna win votes, then you gotta stop votes.
To do what pleases Jesus, deny them all visas, and you can't get more Christian than that. Best content ever. Yeah, it's like Bindi Irwin gained 20 kilos during animal studies, and she got a pet flog as a graduation gift.
Ha! That's great, Shortbus. The latest bit of overproduced, poorly written propaganda spewed from theft-funded ABC minds is a true work of art. It simultaneously puts on display exactly where the ABC lie on the political spectrum, whilst proving without a doubt that the left cannot meme. You see, they want to discredit the PM and attack his character by calling his Christian faith into question. It's a great little strawman of Christianity, whilst playing on the better instincts of potentially guilt-feeling Christians. It's manipulative propaganda, and it needs to be called out.
We love Jesus, Jesus, but not refugees.
If Jesus was a refugee, we'd say, fuck off, we're full.
Like, say, how the left treats white South African farmers who are being persecuted, stolen from, abused and attacked based on their race. The media doesn't want to talk about them for some reason. It's all about those poor queue jumpers at Manus Island. According to the left, these are the victims we need to help, while actual victims of racial hatred need not apply.
Why don't the media want to talk about them, Matty?
Because they're white, Shortbus.
What the f***? Wow, I thought racism was a bad thing.
So did I, Shortbus. Australians have the right to say who comes here and who doesn't. The left are hell-bent on open borders for reasons we can get into another time. But when they push the refugees are good and anyone who wants borders are bad and evil narrative, you know it's globalist rubbish. When their rhetoric suddenly doesn't extend to one racial group, you know it's evil.
To do what pleases Jesus, deny them all visas, you can't get more Christian than that.
Since when was it not a Christian value to defend your territory? The meek shall inherit the earth, remember. Keep in mind, meek, in this context, is those who are armed and ready to fight, but choose not to and prefer not to. It's quite Christian to defend your border, and you could argue it's most Christian to defend your family and your community from those who would wish you harm. Self-defense is not immoral. I'll leave a link to the original video in the description. There's not much more to say about it. It's a straw man of Christianity, and it's a spiteful attack on Scott Morrison and Christians. All covered in a thin veil of poorly attempted humour. They made sure they had an audience, of course, because propaganda works best if people think your views are commonly held, especially when they aren't. Calling Morrison a hypocrite for defending our borders as a Christian is idiotic. I wonder, why is it that ABC leftists just don't like Christianity? Could it be that if people rediscover their Christian beliefs, and the distrust of government that comes with it, they'll realise they don't actually need that government anymore? More specifically, they may not need a certain taxpayer-funded broadcaster using their money to spew lies about and attack their religion.
I want to know, when are the ABC going to start slamming union bosses? How about a song called Sally the Socialist Sings Porky Pies? She'll stare right in your face and tell dirty lies. You didn't earn that. You made it by stealing. Now give me your money and stop your darn squealing.
How about a little jingle about other religions that may or may not want to get rid of Christianity forever? Not sure exactly what happened there. Alright, anyway, I'll continue with the story. Scott Morrison's reaction was quite good. In a skit performed on ABC's Tonightly with Tom Ballard on Monday, comedians Bridie Connell and Wyatt Nixon Lloyd tried to connect the nation's refugee policy to Mr. Morrison's religious beliefs. The ABC can be numpties every now and then, but my faith teaches me to love each other and turn the other cheek, Mr. Morrison told the Daily Telegraph. This is a very Christian way to respond to children. He dismisses their slander and shows them for the fools they are. Tom Ballard also shows us how to deal with a rage mob with the following tweets. This is offensive. ABC comedy at 9:30 PM is not prime time, and I am clearly not a star. Retract immediately. See, he's an honest bloke. And the following. To all those people saying, I bet you wouldn't have the guts to make jokes about a Muslim, you should know that I make jokes about Barack Obama all the time. That's a good one, mate. Would have been nice to hear it while he was in power though. Nobody's perfect. Now I'd like Tom to make a real joke about Muslims, like the one about Muhammad and the princess. I look forward to hearing it. The show might be going the way of the dodo, but what isn't going away is the taxpayer-funded monstrosity that produced it. It's a joke, but you have to realise some people actually believe this stuff.
Well, the refugees are very expensive to the Australian taxpayer as a whole. Like, they tend to be a net consumer of government services compared to taxpayers. What's the case that you would make for Australians as to why their taxes should go up or their debt should go up and their consumption of public resources should go up in return for what?
That's a big one. I personally don't feel like it affects the tax. Refugees don't really affect tax in general. I feel like there's a lot of room for everyone and a lot of resources, but it's just not, shared evenly. Like,
Do you think that the refugees don't cost money?
I feel like every person costs money. I just feel it's not this extreme situation, this extreme perception that we have with letting people in to the country.
Well, but some people pay taxes, and we would assume that the refugees would be paying less, if anything, in taxes, at least for the first little while.
Yeah, definitely, but I don't know what the question is.
Well, the question is, when it comes to, it is going to cost more for Australians and so on, and what do you think they would get in return?
The Australians would get in return.
Yeah, for the refugees.
From the refugees. I don't think it's like a physical thing. I guess it just, I don't know.
Warning.
Sorry, I'm so put off.
Wow. Well, some people fall for it as it conforms to their current belief system, a system they've had programmed into them for a number of years. Yeah, that's true. Not everyone has woken up yet, and that's not their fault. Very true, Matty. Some kids were abused as children. Some kids were raised by single mothers. Some just have low IQs. It's all quite tragic, really.
What's your IQ, Professor?
Good question, Shortbus. Before or after the Wonder Years?
Christianity is one of the great religions for a reason. It forms a key part of what makes us Westerners. Everyone should learn about it, but remember, always think for yourself. The most important thing is finding the truth, and not being afraid to admit you are wrong, so you can go back and reassess in order to find the truth. But that's just my take on it. There are plenty of resources available to help make your own mind up. As for these low agency, low IQ, crocodile hunter, wannabe 90s rocker tryhards, if you enjoy making fools of yourselves on national television, I fully respect your right to do so. Please don't ever stop.
And you can't get more Christian than that.
Don't you think Matty has been getting a bit too religious these days?
That's ironic coming from you.
Yes, but God is like so lame.
You get a real job, you bludger.